Hi! So today we're going to talk to you about attachment and a few tips on how to have the best type of attachment with your little ones. I have a very special guest with me today, and it's my husband.
Good afternoon, everyone.
He has a bachelor's in psychology and is finishing his master's in marriage and family therapy. We are really excited. So he's going to talk to us a little bit more about attachment and the different attachment types that there are.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We're here to talk about attachment and attachment styles between you and your little ones. First, I'm going to talk about the different types of attachment. So there's 4 types of attachment. There's secure, and then there's different types of insecure attachment. Those are the ones that you don't want. There's insecure avoidant, insecure anxious, and disorganized. So a secure attachment style is the best type you can have with you and your child, and that is high in trust, high in intimacy, and low in anxiety and low in avoidance. So insecure anxious is a negative attachment style, and that is one where the child is very anxious about the mom and how is she going to react. Is she going to react good? Is she going to react bad? It's very mixed messages. And then insecure avoidant is when the child is getting yelled at for being upset, for having emotions. You're not allowed to cry. Why are you crying? Don't cry. A lot of commands about not showing emotions. And then disorganized is where the child is kind of all over the place and is usually violent or aggressive, and that generally comes from trauma or abuse. So in order to avoid the different types of insecure attachment and have the best type of secure attachment you can with your child is to make sure that you remain consistent. And not only remaining consistent, because you could be consistent at yelling at your child not to cry. So you need to be consistent in consoling your children, showing them that they're allowed to have emotions, and also helping them label their emotions. A lot of children get really confused with the difference between anger and frustration. They really don't understand what frustration means, and it's really helpful for you to talk to them about what being frustrated is and showing them. So like I said, it's remaining consistent. It's showing your children that they're allowed to have emotions. For example, if your child has something they're not supposed to have, like they grab the scissors off the counter, and you take the scissors away and they're upset and they cry, you know, you need to tell them it's okay to be sad that you can't have the scissors, but it's not okay to have the scissors because it's dangerous. And then you can help them with their emotion of being sad and talking to them about it and how they can, you know, you can console them. You can show them how they can feel better, how to manage their emotions. And it's really doing that time and time again and finding the patience to be there with your child in their moments of distress and not getting to the point where you're telling them, don't cry, it's not okay to cry.
So is there any way to know what kind of attachment your child currently has?
I mean, one way to tell is they did a research study back in the 1970s called The Strange Situation. Which is really where you put your child with a stranger in a new place. And it depends on how your child reacts when the primary caregiver leaves the room and comes back. If it's a secure attachment, the child will be upset that the caregiver left, but when they come back, they will need a minute or two to be consoled, and then they'll be happy again. Insecure anxious, which is the one that's very inconsistent, sometimes lovey, sometimes not. That child will get very upset, but then not be able to feel better when the mom comes back. And then the avoidant one, that child has learned not to show emotion, and they will just not care. Well, they'll show on the outside that they don't care, but research shows that on the inside, their cortisol and anxiety levels are very high.
What about different temperaments? Is there any way to control that, or is that something that they're born with?
There are 4 different types of temperaments. Easygoing babies makes up about 40%. Difficult babies make up 10%. slow to warm up makes up 15, and then 35% don't fit into one category very neatly. So they could be like a combination of the 2 or 3 others. So easygoing babies are easy to get a routine, they're easy to eat and sleep, and they can adapt to new situations. They don't really get upset that often. Difficult babies are difficult. You know, they don't sleep well, they don't fall into a routine very well, they're kind of all over the place, they cry a lot, they get upset a lot, they're hard to console. And then slow to warm up are babies who look difficult at the beginning, but after given a little bit of time, then they can look like easygoing babies given practice and given a routine. Meaning if you take them on a vacation, they might have a really hard time the first day or 2 with the new routine, but then they'll get it. Where an easy baby will just be okay generally from the beginning, and a difficult baby won't be okay for pretty much the entire trip.
All right, so I hope that was helpful for you guys. Just to do a quick summary, there's different types of attachment styles. We, of course, are all shooting to have the best type, which is the secure attachment. But hey, it is not easy, and sometimes, even though we try our hardest, we just don't get that. And that has to do with temperament. As Adam said, temperament is kind of like nature versus nurture. Some babies are just born with a specific type of temperament, and some babies are, as I'm sure you have seen, some babies are super easy to be around, super easy to make happy or calm them, while on the other hand, we have the other type of baby that it's usually fussy, a little bit grumpy, and you don't know why they're crying or what can you do to help them out. So, you know, me as a mom, I can tell you guys that I am aware that it is super hard and that you really try sometimes, but just be aware that the way you want it to happen doesn't happen. It is not your fault or your baby's fault. It is just the way things are. But thankfully, we have access to mental health care professionals that will always be there to support you and will always be there to answer questions. And if you ever feel like you have a question or there's something that you wish we would have covered but we didn't, feel free to send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to answer to the best of my knowledge. So I hope you have a great day, and I hope you found this video helpful.